Man, what's the deal, YouTube family, man? I'm still in the Halloween spooky spirit. All that creepy stuff is, I'm honestly, I'm not in that spirit no more, but I just wanted to say that for the video because I feel like it went with the video, and I was supposed to react to this a long time ago, so I'm sorry for lying to y'all. But with that being said, man, top 10 creepiest haunted graveyards in the world. Now, I would never, bro, I swear to God, I would never go to none of these places. Like, I wouldn't do none of that little weird stuff at night, go to a graveyard. I wish I would. I don't play with ghosts. I don't play with all that stuff. Is weird, and no, it's like a borderline with everything in life, and that's kind of crossing the border. But with that being said, man, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, bro. We on the road to 1K, bro. Y'all doing y'all thing with that subscriber count, but we need a little bit more. But I'm very appreciative of what y'all do for the channel, and so let's make it do what it do, and let's start this video. Let's go.
You do not want to visit these spots at night.
I don't
Welcome
know,
to
man.
Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 most haunted graveyards. For this list, we're looking at the spookiest graveyards, along with other tombs and places of burial in the world. Number 10, Stoll Cemetery, Douglas County, Kansas, United States. This Kansas cemetery has garnered the name the Gates of Hell, which should tell you pretty much everything you need to know about it. The graveyard has a long history of associations with the occult, and many people began to believe the rumors swirling around it after a piece was published in the University of Kansas student newspaper in 1974 saying that the devil visited Stoll 2 times every year, on Halloween and during the spring equinox.
Spread like wildfire.
The legend went so crazy it could have been a movie plot, launching more fiction, like the Pope supposedly refusing to fly over the town.
Since then, many visitors have reported strange happenings at the cemetery, including lapses in memory from their visits. If that isn't creepy, we don't know what is. Number 9, Glasnevin Cemetery, Dublin, Ireland. Some of Ireland's most famous figures are buried at Dublin's Glasnevin Cemetery. The site is aware that they have a reputation for being haunted, with the museum affiliated with it even offering a ghastly Glasnevin exhibit. Some stories of hauntings are harrowing, but others are simply heartbreaking. One of the legends associated with Glasnevin is that there's a ghost of a dog who stayed by the tomb of his master, Captain John McNeill Boyd, and died of starvation. Now, he continues to haunt the area.
They got dogs over there dying of starvation, bro? Oh, tripping.
Sorry.
Oh, tripping. I love my king and queen, too.
Number 8, Rookwood Cemetery, Sydney, Australia. You don't necessarily think of creepy things happening in the land down under, but Australia is home to more haunts than you would think. In particular, Rookwood Cemetery in Sydney is notable because more than 1 million people are buried there. Odds are at least a few of them have to be ghosts with those kind of numbers, but the reason people associate Rookwood with the ghost realm is that 2 spiritualists, the Davenport brothers, are interred there and are said to act as a link between the world of the living and the world of the dead. Number 7, Colonial Park Cemetery, Savannah, Georgia, United States. Savannah, Georgia is known for being one of the most haunted cities in America, and it's a reputation that's totally justified. The city is home to many notable and historic cemeteries, all of which have their own stories of hauntings, but Colonial Park is the most renowned. In the early 1800s, many residents of the city fell victim to the yellow fever epidemic and were buried in mass graves.
This is starting to get interesting to me because I was just in Georgia. Over the years, when space ran out, plots were moved around, and many bodies were exhumed and transferred to other locations. The dead do not like to be displaced, so it's no surprise they stick around to haunt the place. Number 6, La Recoleta, Buenos Aires, Argentina. Some graveyards are said to be generally haunted by spirits, and others have more specific stories associated with them. Argentina, I love Messi though. I love
Buenos Aires is one of the
jersey,
latter, with a legend telling the story of Rufina Cambaceres, a young girl who was purportedly buried alive at the turn of the 20th century.
Buried
Days
alive,
after her funeral, an employee allegedly noticed something amiss at her gravesite.
This is helping me to show me places not to go.
Inside her coffin. The intricate tomb that is now there was apparently commissioned by her parents to commemorate what happened to her. Number 5, Highgate Cemetery, London, United Kingdom. Considering London's long and storied history, it makes sense that there are so many locations in the city that are associated with the spirit world.
This place is at once a product and a symbol of Victorian society. It is a physical survival, enclosed, untouched, and homogeneous.
Highgate Cemetery is the burying place of many noted figures, including Karl Marx and members of the Dickens family. But the graveyard isn't said to be haunted by the ghost of communism, but rather by a spectral being known as the Highgate Vampire. There have been many sightings of a 7-foot-tall
Vampires.
figure with unsettlingly hypnotizing eyes, and that's enough for us to never visit after
That's
dark.
enough for me. Yeah, never to go. I wish I would.
Number 4,
Dracula,
Resurrection
stop
Cemetery, Chicago, Illinois,
It.
United
Oh my
States.
gosh, I stayed in Chicago.
She was
Cool.
bright,
Resurrection.
very
So they bring it
bright,
back people.
like illuminating.
They bringing back dead bodies in
She was just
Chicago.
walking very slow.
That's out. Ah!
I remember thinking, oh my God, it's
I don't like that,
Resurrection
bro.
Mary.
Known as Chicago's most famous ghost, Resurrection Mary has a reputation that has lasted for decades. Beginning in the
That's
1930s, reports were made of men picking up a strange female hitchhiker near the Willowbrook Ballroom and Resurrection
Pervert.
Cemetery.
Soon, reports were coming in of a strange spectral girl wandering Archer Avenue. Resurrection Mary. Some claim her spirit
Is
is
that where Bloody
desperately
Mary come
searching
from?
for someone to lead her back to Resurrection Cemetery.
The young woman reportedly wears a white dress and is strangely silent, always asking to be dropped off at the cemetery. Of course, as the story goes, this is a figure who was actually killed along that stretch of road many years ago.
Oh,
Ghost hunter
sorry.
Richard Crowe asserts that he is aware of dozens of reputable stories of sightings of Mary.
But when you come up with a story like Resurrection Mary, where we have dozens of reports spanning decades, I think you've got to go a long way to trying to undermine all that massive documentation.
Number 3, the Valley of the Kings, Luxor, Egypt. The world has long been fascinated with the
Luxor,
burial
that's where the
practices of the ancient
pyramids
Egyptians.
in,
And of
Vegas.
course,
Okay,
many
okay,
eerie
learn
tales
something.
associated with them
I
have
know that's a real place though.
It really does evoke this sense of going down into the subterranean underworld, into the blackness,
tripping.
into the darkness,
She
into
tripping.
eternity.
The Valley of the
Tripping.
Kings in Luxor was long
Tripping.
used as a burial site for
Wish I
prominent
would.
Egyptians, who were said to put
Hey, let
curses
them
on their
little
tombs
kings and
in order to
pharaohs
keep
do what they
potential
do.
grave robbers
See?
at bay.
Stop it.
The tomb of Tutankhamun, better known as King Tut, is particularly associated
Leave
with
him
strange
alone.
happenings, with many
Leave
deaths being
Tut
attributed to the
alone.
area because of the mummy's curse, which is said to strike down anyone who disturbs his tomb.
They also left him the kind of protection other pharaohs would kill for. A curse
They got a mummy's
that
curse.
would make
Stop
even
it.
skeptics
Wish I
tread
would.
lightly.
Number 2, Westminster Burial Ground, Baltimore, Maryland, United States. You probably will not be surprised to learn
Baltimore?
that the cemetery where Edgar Allan Poe
Wow.
is buried is totally
That's crazy because that's one of my
The
favorite
Westminster
poets.
Burial Ground, which is sometimes
The
referred to
Raven?
as the Old Western Burial Ground, is home to many famous Americans, though Poe is the most prominent. Though there
Dang, I
are
kinda
many
wanna
tales
go
of
to
eerie
Edgar Allan
happenings in this
Poe's,
spot, one of the most terrifying is the story of the Skull of Cambridge, which is allegedly the skull of a long-dead minister that occasionally screams unendingly despite being surrounded with cement. We'll pass on visiting, thanks.
Yeah, I'm cool. I'll
Before
go
we
see the
unveil
homie
our
Edgar
top
Allan
pick,
Poe, but
here
I ain't
are
about
some
to
honorable mentions. St. Louis Cemetery number 1, New Orleans, Louisiana,
Straight,
United
mess
States.
with that woo.
Famous for the
Stop
tomb
playing.
of voodoo
Look,
queen
exactly.
Marie Laveau.
Stop it.
St. Omer Cemetery Witchgrave, Ashmore,
To
United
Illinois.
States.
Might not need
Ghost
to go
town
back to
cemeteries
Chicago
are
this month.
scarier than
I'm
most.
cool.
Cemetery Hill, Gettysburg, Pennsylvania,
Lot of
United
death.
States.
We already know about the Battle of
of
Gettysburg.
caused
Exactly.
this to be
Thank
one
you.
of America's most haunted
Cool.
places. Howard Street Cemetery, Salem, Massachusetts,
Salem,
United
I'm
States.
cool.
Haunted by accused warlock Giles Corey. Wildwood Cemetery and Crematorium, Williamsport, Pennsylvania, United States. Known for its mix of good and evil
I don't know
spirits.
about that.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel.
And you see,
ring
none
the
of them
bell
is
to get
in
notified
LA.
about our
Like,
latest videos.
we smooth.
You
We
have
not
the
with all
option
that
to be
weirdo
notified
stuff.
for
You with that
occasional
weirdo
videos
stuff? Get
or
out
all
of
of
LA,
them.
bro.
If you're on
Go
your
to
phone,
Hollywood.
make sure you go
but
into your
feel me?
settings
Don't
and switch
come
on
to LA.
notifications.
And no, it's not the same thing.
Number 1, Greyfriars Kirkyard, Edinburgh, Scotland. Some ghosts are innocuous
Cool,
or
so
even
Iceland,
friendly,
Scotland,
but the ghost of Sir
UK.
George Mackenzie of
Cool.
Rosehaw, who is interred at Greyfriars Kirkyard in Edinburgh, is said to be anything but. His place
Bro,
of
I
burial is
feel like- I
referred
feel
to
like
as
something
Geordie
about to
Mackenzie's
jump
tomb,
out at me or
and
something,
there
like
have
I'm low-key,
long
like,
been stories of
flinching,
a
ah.
physically violent poltergeist residing there. It doesn't help that the tomb has been broken into and vandalized many times
mess
over
with
the
the
years,
dead.
with one
Ooh.
instance of 2 teens actually removing the skull from a corpse and playing with it. Do you agree
Y'all
with our
is
picks?
weirdos out there. Hey, I'm about to watch some cartoons because whenever I see scary things, cartoons kind of ease my mind, and I feel like I don't know. I'll see y'all next time for another video, man. I'm out. Peace.